Hi guys, it's Elizabeth from Chaos and Critters, and today we're book blogging. The topic, the top 5 characters I would most like to drown. So stick around and find out who's going under the water.
Number 1. Holden Caulfield from Catcher in the Rye. I have never understood Caulfield as the archetypal teenager in the midst of angst. I just don't. He's a whiny, childish, entitled, selfish bore. It's not that I didn't know guys like Holden in high school. It's just that I generally avoided them like the plague. He's too saintly, he's holier than thou, and he's a prep school snob. Wait, come to think of it, I did date one guy like Holden. I seriously lucked out and got out of that relationship, and I never dated boys from that prep school again. Number 2. John Proctor from the Crucible. Another holier-than-thou type, John Proctor says that he avoids church because Reverend Paris is less about God than he is about money. Now, I'll admit, Paris really was the Salem version of Joel What's in it for me Osteen. But a guy who's going to criticize other people probably ought to be keeping it in his pants. Because let's face it, that's all the Crucible is. A guy who ought to know better has an affair with the babysitter. She's a disturbed young lady who tries to get rid of her competition. You know, his wife. By accusing her of witchcraft. If Proctor had kept it in his pants, a lot of people would have avoided grisly forms of death. Keep it in your pants, guys. Girls who are willing to knowingly sleep with married men are crazy loons who will ruin your life. Number 3. Lydia Bennet from Pride and Prejudice. Seriously, Lydia has got to be the most simpering, vain, narcissistic shopaholic. She drives me nuts, can you tell? Her entire life seems to be summed up in the idea that she sees it, she wants it, she should have it, and she should have it now just because she is her. She squeals and simpers and sticks her nose in everywhere it doesn't belong. The only good thing about Lydia is that in real life, girls like this seem to end up with the most wonderful, hard-working husbands, and they abuse them and treat them like ATMs, while Lydia got stuck with slimy old Wickham, which seems like decent comeuppance. Number 4. Frodo from Lord of the Rings. Now, I have to admit, Frodo from the movies is a million times worse than Frodo from the books. But they are both spineless wimps who cave to the power of the ring. Granted, if Elrond had just pushed Isildur into the pit in Mount Doom, the whole world would have been much better off, so Elrond kinda gets an honorable mention. But Frodo, he just annoys me. Good-hearted Sam, now that's a man, well, a hobbit, that I can love and respect. Although frankly, I wouldn't have been upset if he had just shoved Frodo in along with Gollum. He wouldn't do that. Loyal to the end, that one. Number 5. Romeo from Romeo and Juliet. Let's be honest, I'd like to drown pretty much everybody in Romeo and Juliet, except Mercutio and Rosaline. Romeo is a total pervert stalker guy. Rosaline has the good sense to ignore the perv. Seriously, if I met a guy like Romeo, I'd pull the whole, gee, sorry, I'm going to be a nun line too. He walks around moping because he can't get Rosaline in the sack. Then he spots Juliet. Like most pervs who can't make it with someone their own age, he decides to go after the young, secluded girl who has no life experience. The nurse and Friar Lawrence should be talking sense into these two, but no, they set up what has to be the world's worst plan to reunite them. Life lesson? Young teenage girls, when an older teenage or young 20-something or even older guy puts some moves on you, it's not romantic, it's not because you're so mature, it's just creepy, and it's going to end up in disaster. So, what characters would you most like to drown? Make sure to link to your blog or your videos in the comments so I can make sure to see them all. Have a great day.